Alrighty guys, we're back for some Esper Aggro, and this is a Dominaria United Standard Brew. We're going to go over the deck, then hop right into some normal play mode, because this is going to be another deck where it's probably more important to just focus on having fun and not worry too much about winning. That being said, I think there's going to be some serious power here, and also thank you for the suggestion down in the comments to try out a Esper Aggro build. That was an awesome suggestion, and I'm very excited to try it out. What do we got in the build? We got a Runic Shot. Pretty good removal. It is sorcery speed. That's something to think about. The kicker cost is not too bad for the extra scry too, where in aggro decks I always say don't underestimate scry. Got a couple cut downs, just more important early game removal against all the aggro floating about. Got 4 Okiba Reckoner Raids here. Now this just so happens to eventually flip into an enchantment creature, but also it's pretty good aggro. It's just a good aggressive card. People were running this before rotation in mono black aggro, and it worked pretty well, honestly. The first 2 chapters here went a long way, especially the life gain literally saving you in some games, and then flipping into a menace 2/2 is sick. We don't have any vehicles, so don't worry too much about that ability. Got 4 Michiko's Reign of Truth. So this is a 2 mana saga. The first 2 chapters on this, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and or enchantment you control. This ends up being a very aggressive card and eventually flips into an enchantment creature where the portrait of Michiko, Michiko? My apologies guys, gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So it ends up being a pretty powerful creature too. Got 4 Spirited Companions, and I'm actually shocked at how much play Companion is seeing for being a 1/1 that's 2 mana. Yeah, only 2 mana. A 2 mana 1/1. It's super weird that this is being slotted into a ton of different builds, not just Esper builds, guys, but it's pretty good being able to replace itself. And there's a lot of those decks can bring it back from the grave and stuff like that, which we're going to be able to do in this build too. No, we're not. I'm crazy. Don't listen to me. Either way, it's an enchantment creature, so it works with Esper, and it helps us get more onto the board, and it's a pretty great card that works with Liliana too, because you do get this onto the board. You can eventually sacrifice it to the Liliana instead of one of your more important creatures, and it replaces itself, gets something to the hand. So we got 4 Life of Toshiros. So again, you guys will notice this being a trend in the deck. So the enchantment creatures are very important, and it just so happens that we have some very aggressive sagas that we can put in here. So for 2 mana, so a 2 mana saga, and the first 2 chapters here, you get to choose one. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Nice. Or target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Very nice. Or you gain 2 life. Awesome. Everything on this card I love. We used to run this with Eye Twitch, and we were very happy where you could turn 1 Eye Twitch, turn 2 Life of Toshiro, swing in with a 3/3 in the air, or you could -1/-1 to take out a Shamble Buddy or something like that. And then sometimes you're up against a super aggressive deck where that life gain is just going to be way too good. Flips into that Memory of Toshiro. We don't use the ability too often, but the ability is important here because for only 1 life, we can cast like a cut down off of the Memory of Toshiro, so not half bad. And then enchantment creatures are going to be very important because of our keystone of the build, Esper Eternal Schemer. So it's a 3 mana with Esper colors up there, a 1/4 flyer. Enchantment creatures you control have Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof. Holy cow, that is a set of abilities. Then it gets better. You can pay 1 and a white. Target non-aura enchantment you control becomes a creature in addition to its other types, and has a base power and base toughness, each equal to its mana value. Okay, so we can power up a wedding announcement, for example, and have a 3/3 Death Touch, Lifelink, Hexproof, but Esper gets way more powerful with another new card, which we'll go over in just a second, and you guys have definitely been seeing it everywhere. We have a single Katilda in here because I think it could go a long way and happens to be a very aggressive card, and the lifelink is insane. We have 4 wedding announcements. I kind of spoiled that when I went over Zur, but yeah, wedding announcement. And I kept saying it, guys. I kept saying that wedding announcement is actually pretty great in aggressive builds, even though it's a little slower than aggressive builds usually want. What ends up happening when you run the wedding announcement in an aggro deck is it starts to lean a little bit mid-range, but just a little bit. It just lets you kind of go into the middle of the game and still have enough value to still run down the opponent. And yeah, I love wedding announcement. It's amazing. Have a Soul of Kamigawa here. So this is a 4 mana 3/3 with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. So what this lets us do, this is pretty sick, is you can drop this down and protect your Zur, so that way all of your enchantment creatures can continue to have their Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof, and then spot removal just doesn't work until the opponent spot removes the Soul of Kamigawa. And then they would also have to remove Zur just to get rid of the Death Touch, Lifelinks, Hexproof on all of our other creatures too. Now, obviously, board wipes does get around that, but the Indestructible, for example, if they destroy all creatures, then the Indestructible will still be on the Zur, and it would only take out everything else. So I think Soul of Kamigawa is pretty cool. You can pay 1 of every color down there, and it gets +5/+5 until end of turn, which could go a long way in a deck that can totally pay all 5 mana colors, and it could be an 8/8 flyer. So could close out games with that. Got 3 Hallowed Hauntings. I think this is going to be a pretty sick card in a Zur build. We have a ton of just this early enchantment stuff and like running down Companion with Hallowed Haunting out there, getting your Spirit Cleric and then drawing another card like Life of Toshiro, run that down too. Maybe you got that Reckoner raid and you're just getting a bunch of clerics on the board. Yep, it can be a very aggressive card, and we know that because Selesnya Enchantments is still running about too, rocking like, I don't even know, 3 or 4 Hallowed Hauntings in that build too. So very good card, just another enchantment that we can actually power up with Zur as well. So on the very top end, of course, we got the 4 Leyline Bindings. It is not a 6 mana card by any means, guys. It's going to be in this build between 1 and 3, which is disgusting because it has flash and you get to exile any target non-land permanent an opponent controls. So yeah, between 3 and 1 mana, it's actually insane. And then while it's on the board, it is 6 mana. So when you power it up with Zur, of course, like I said, you guys have probably been seeing it, it would be a 6/6 with Death Touch, with Lifelink, with Hexproof, and then it would also get any other buffs, like if we had the Wedding Festivity on the board too. The mana base was pretty tough to put together. Hopefully I landed on something over here. We're actually not rocking any Thran Portals because Thran Portal has been pretty rough to run sometimes, honestly. And you gotta choose the right deck for it. I think Thran Portal could have worked in here with all the extra life gain we could be getting off the raid, off of the Life of Toshiro, off the lifelink with the Zur. But I think it was just better to include more of these triomes, guys. So we got a couple of the headquarters, a couple of the Xander's Lounge, all 4 Jetmir's Garden, and all 4 Raffine's Tower. So Raffine's Tower is the main one that we really want to see because that's what our entire deck runs on, blue, black, white. And then the reason we have the 4 gardens is because it also has green-red in it. So all you need is Raffine's Tower and Jetmir's Garden on the board, and all of a sudden Binding is 1 mana, which is insane to think about, honestly. You have some other pain lands in here too with the caves, but that is actually it for the pain lands. So, oh, we also have a Seat and a Soaring City and an Abandoned Mire because I think all 3 of these are really good. Abandoned Mire can bring like a Zur back from the grave. Soaring City happens to save you from a lot often, and you know, Zur is actually legendary, so it makes all these costs less, and Katilda's legendary too, so the Empire is just pretty good removal as well. Got some honorable mentions. The Modern Age could be cool, but not this time around. Restoration of Eiganjo could be epic. That's why I thought we were going to be able to bring back Companion with Restoration of Eiganjo. But I was wrong. We actually didn't have it in here. Just an honorable mention, and it's really powerful. So really something to think about. You could also put a Cruelty on the top end, and this card is amazing. You can bring Zur back with it as well. You can search for Zur, you can search for Leyline Binding, but I wanted to stay away from the mid-range side of things and really focus in on the aggro part. I really do think this can be aggressive, so no Cruelty this time round. Let's go ahead, take it into some normal play mode, see how we do. Alright, we'll see if we can get right into the first game here. Now, I hope everyone is okay with me hitting up normal play mode for the rest of this week like I did. I think it was like 3 videos in a row we did normal play mode. Just trying to take a break from the actual ladder meta where like every other game, if not more often, is mono black control. So we do get to see a lot more variety over here in normal play mode. It's not a bad hand. It's not a bad one because Companion lets us draw multiple turns in a row and see if we can find more. It's not a very aggressive hand, but it could be. Anyways, yeah, we do get to see more variety, but even so, it is a ton of meta decks here in play mode. I think a lot of people are testing out the meta in normal play mode right now, or something's going on like that. We are just seeing a ton of meta builds. Yeah, we'll take the 1. This might just be a mirror match, but our deck is hopefully a little bit faster. They do have this 1 open, and it is sticking, so I don't know what this could be for 1 mana that's making our Companion float. Especially if that is a Zur deck. What would that be? Because a cut down wouldn't be sticking, so maybe they just have full control. Now it would be sticking, but speaking of cut down, not a bad draw. Yeah, Xander's Lounge, okay. Alright, so Leyline Binding could be in their hand easily, and it could be 1 mana, so pretty much anything we do here is probably going to get gobbled up by some form of spot removal. Hallowed Haunting, I really don't want them to take that with a binding. I'd rather them hit the Reign of Truth, but I think we'll go Companion before the swing and see what they do. The Reign of Truths are actually insane, but we just know. Okay, so it's actually going to be a Make Disappear. Huh. Okay. We get a swing, so this could be Domain Control then. It might not be Zur. Domain Control is another powerful one that we should fear, so. Yeah, they're gonna pass. I don't think Domain Control's running Wandering Emperor. But we don't know. We don't know what the opponent's running exactly. Wedding Announcement. Nice. So we want to play around Make Disappears. We have the 2 open. Let's go. We have 2 Reign of Truths as well. Let's go 3rd Companion. It's a little silly. A little silly. And then the Make Disappear would happen on the Reign of Truth. Oh, Life of Toshiro is pretty good too. Yeah, let's attempt the Life of Toshiro. I'd rather that get countered than these because the Portrait could wrap up a game, especially if they're forced to board wipe early on. Huh. Okay, there's the cut down. Okay, okay. And the Leyline Binding to hit the life. So they're using a lot of spot removal, guys, which means we might be able to get the Hallowed Haunting down here. Okay. They got very greedy with this spot removal. They must have more, huh? They must have more. I really want to try to run out Hallowed Haunting, but with the Make Disappear, 2 cut downs, and a Leyline Binding all hitting, what are the odds? Probably pretty good that they have another thing. Maybe not. Let's do it. Let's run it down. We got 2 more on the deck. We got a great hand here. If we're not greedy now, like the opponent slowed us down enough. Okay, second Make Disappear. Yep. It's worth a shot, I think. I hope it was worth a shot. Yeah, they have 2 cards remaining in hand. Eventually, we're going to get something onto the board. I'm going to start with Wedding Announcement next turn, because now we actually have the 2 to pay if they have the 3rd Make Disappear. So we still don't know if it's a Zur build or if it's a domain control build. I don't think the Make Disappear is something that Zur sees though. Okay, no sticking this time. I'm gonna run this out even though we don't get anything for it. We're like, we want it to flip into the portrait as soon as possible. Plus we have a second one here too, so. All right, Hallowed Haunting, beautiful. Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna go Hallowed Haunting this turn. Let's swing. Okay, there's the Wandering Emperor. Wow. All right, this is good news. Hallowed Haunting gets to hit the board here. Maybe they still have 1 mana open, so it could be another Leyline Binding to gobble up the Haunting. Nope, not that time. Okay. This is anyone's game, guys. Opponent kind of ran out of cards, but they removed a lot of ours, so. Probably plus on the Emperor, just for the sake of not having it die. So they don't know we have the Reign of Truth to buff the human to take out the Emperor too. So they didn't minus, so they would have minused if they had another Emperor in hand, I'm assuming. A land is fine. Totally down for a land here. Attempt the Reign of Truth so we can take out the Emperor this turn. "5/5 though, man. No question in my mind that we have to hit the Emperor though. Rona's Vortex. Aw, man. Alright, Emperor gets to survive an extra turn here, but we get a second Wedding Announcement, and now the opponent needs a board wipe, because this is a board state, guys. Even if they get a chump blocker down, we have the cut down. No! Drag to the bottom! Opponent, you monster! They're like, yeah, I guess I'll get a 2/2 now. And it's actually a 6/6 because of the Reign of Truth. Oh man, so once they target this with the Emperor's ability, we'll use the cut down. So we'll use the cut down. Yeah, drag to the bottom, wiping our entire board is pretty brutal. So they go for the cycle because they might find a counter spell. So I suppose this is a domain control deck. I don't think this is a Zur build that we're up against. Either way, it's like I said, our deck can totally be sustainable in longer games. So Soul of Kamigawa is okay. This is sticking again, so they ended up drawing something off the cycle. Alright, we swing at Emperor and hope that it actually hits, because we can't let this Emperor survive. Leyline Binding. Okay, yeah, this is indestructible, so it doesn't save it from the binding. Just double checking here. So we can still flash this out on the opponent's turn, though. As much as I want to play it now, I think it's still better to save as a flash ability if they get another board wipe. Because this is a board that they would still want to wipe, so. Opponent! What a draw, dude. What a draw. Oh, man. Yeah, go for the 2/2. And that's a good reason to save your flashback, huh? So let's go ahead and give the Hallowed Haunting indestructible, because that is gonna be a pretty important card. So we're finally gonna hit Emperor. They've gotten so much value off of that Emperor. I would love to hit face, but let's be real, we gotta get rid of it. So much value off of a single Emperor. Okay, a Sheoldred off the top too. Whoo, buddy. Good draws for the opponent. Okay. Reckoner Raid's really good too. Do we not have the 5 mana available here? Red. No, we don't have the green. We have the green, but then we don't have the red is the problem. So we can't just buff this for a bigger swing. So Reckoner Raid's pretty good because we get another cleric. We do this before combat because that lets us swing with the other cleric, and they chump. They don't trade with Sheoldred. So now the opponent's sweating. They're going back up to 15, but they've been drawing amazing this whole time, and it's gonna have to keep up, so. Okay, so let's go ahead and let these happen first, and we do cycle this, even though we'll have the red for the soul. I guess we'll play it as a land, because the soul is doing a lot here. So they're going to take 10. I guess we'll play it as a land. How do you guys feel about that instead of cycling? We're kind of putting all of our eggs into one basket with the soul by not cycling this. Either way, we swung first in case they were forced to trade there because they're down to 4 actually. So we could have cycled this after the Sheoldred died. Soaring City, bring back the Leyline, hit the Soul of Kamigawa. They need one more piece of removal. They could hit the Hallowed Haunting or the Wedding Festivity too, so it really depends. Okay, I think that's it, guys. GG, we got there. All right, so the deck was able to sustain itself against a ton of removal. 2 drag to the bottoms, 2 cut downs, 2 make disappears, hitting everything. The Rona's Vortex, the Wandering Emperor, even a Sheoldred Saw off the top for the opponent. Very cool. I'm actually pretty pleased that we were able to just kind of like, yeah, sustainability, guys. We were able to sustain ourselves against that. That was awesome. All right, next game. Let's do it. Hopefully we see, like, I kind of want to take this up against other aggro builds. I really want to see if we can out aggro them. And the big concern here is I want to make sure I label the deck properly. Now, I'm probably, when I put it up on, this isn't a bad hand. It's a little slow with the towers, but we'll probably draw more land. Anyways, when I put it up on Aether Hub, I will probably put it up as, see if they flip this turn 1. Nice. Ah, man, don't you guys wish we could do that sometimes? I gotta make a new Delver deck, because the last time we played Delver, we got pretty lucky with Delver. Honestly, we did. See if the Reckoner Raid hits the board here. It's worth a shot. It's our 1 drop, and if it doesn't, then it's fine. Like, it's just our 1 drop, you know? Anyways, when I put the deck up on Aether Hub, I'm gonna make sure I put aggro and mid-range, because it could definitely go into the mid-range. We don't have like board wipes or anything fancy like that, but yeah, the deck is designed for the aggro side of things. Shore up just for the sake of shore up, huh? Just for the sake of shore up. That was weird, right? To untap that for what? Oh yeah, get a chunkier Jin on the board, and then it doesn't get cut down. Actually pretty cool, opponent. I like that. So the Zur can come down. Can actually get Wedding Announcement down successfully too. Zur blocks well, except we know they have Shore Up and other cards, so the Jin is probably getting through. The big concern here, like, if we can double down on Life of Toshiro, the worst comes to worst, we can gain 4 life off of these. Fading Hope on the Zur, that is actually brutal. I should have thought about that. But wedding announcement, it would have been the same concept. They probably still would have hit our 1/1 token off the Fading Hope, so. Scary business, guys. Very, very scary business. We're gonna get a 2/2 Menace on the board, and they have 1 mana open. Jetmir's Garden's pretty good, but we want more mana for this turn. We get Zur down as a blocker. I can only assume they have a lot in hand. Like, March of the Swirling Mist is one that comes to mind that could easily just have them win the game next turn. And so it's going to be Life of Toshiro, gain 2, and then Life of Toshiro, gain 2, because they have 7 in the air. If we get Zur down and it just ends up, getting Fading Hoped or March of the Swirling Mist or any of those other things, then I think it's just better to gain life here and kind of bide our time. How do you guys feel about that? So no more Considers, that's good. This card's sick. I can't wait to play with this one too, but I actually don't have, I think I only have one of them, and I'm getting very close to being out of rare wild cards, so kind of been holding off on it. It looks really fun though, doesn't it? 8 damage, run out everything, right? Like, drop the Shore out, get that extra damage with the Jin. Not this time, they might be out. So let's gain the life. Actually, we could minus, oh man. No, we gained the life. We could try to target the Delver to take it out with both of the minus ones, but yeah, I don't know if it works, guys. I don't know. The Shore Up art is in the deck. Jetmir's Garden. Yeah, so the tapped land slows us down pretty well here. Back up to 9. I think we could successfully swing on the ground. And I think we attempt the Zur again. Let's attempt the swing and see if they do anything to this. Okay. And if Zur gets countered, they have 8 and then 9 off the counter. So either way, it's probably the opponents. We gotta try it though. I think Life of Toshiro would have been a safer bet against like a Make Disappear, because we could have paid the 2. Essence Capture, very nice. Hey, good game, opponent. Oh man, we got picked apart that game, huh? Gotta drop our favorite emote whenever we can. Whenever we have a moment to. Okay, well, that could have gone better. One big thing against decks like that, and I always bring this up, I am terrible playing against the tempo builds. It's like, I have no idea what to do. So honestly, you guys might have seen a better line of play there. Let me know in the comments for sure if you did. Okay, hey, not a bad hand. I like it. Okay. Hello, opponent. Hi, we don't get hellos every day. Make sure we get the Reckoner raid down as soon as possible over the Runic Shot. The shot's gonna be good and all, but I'd rather get the raid down before the shot. Nice, Outland Liberator. Nice, that's really good against us, isn't it? So keeping the shot open here would have been better. I doubt they do anything to the raid though, so let's go headquarters for the blue as well as the white. We have the island for the blue too if we want to kick the shot. So they don't sacrifice the Liberator here. Oh, they have a second Liberator. This could be really bad, because if this flips to nighttime at any point, then the Frenzied Trap Breaker just completely gobbles through enchantment builds. So the Runic Shot does hit if we want to. We do get the Scry as well. I think we do it. I think we do it, guys. Got a Raffine's Tower too. That's awesome. Could be a Tamiyo Safekeeping. It is a Tamiyo Safekeeping. Guys, I'm scared. I'm scared, man. Okay, swing for 4. Are they going to keep 4 open? Like, that could have been a Hallowed Owl turn. Yeah, they're going to keep the 4 open for nighttime. The Trap Breaker is terrifying. So, yeah, the problem is they can just gobble through artifacts and enchantments now. So 4 mana, like, we literally cannot play Hallowed Haunting. It instantly dies. So Katilda's pretty good. Soaring City's not terrible. Let's go Katilda. And then Jetmir's Garden's going to come down. So Katilda isn't in itself a enchantment. Oh, play with fire. No. Oh, man. So yeah, Road Captain's going to die to the Trap Breaker's ability, and we're in trouble, guys. Don't sleep on the Outland Liberators. And some of you guys in the comments have told me this in the past, that Outland Liberator is actually just insane. Don't sleep on it, because there are a ton of enchantments in Standard, and these Xur decks will get picked apart easily. So Xur, Life of Toshiro, gain 2. Get the Xur onto the board. Xur does not die to a Play with Fire or a Lightning Strike. Not too shabby. What do you guys think? Let's run down that Xur. Let's get that Life of Toshiro down. It's going to switch back to daytime. Get 2 life because we're sweating. I promise the build knows how to be aggressive. I promise. I hope I promise. I hope I'm right. We just gotta go against an opponent who is not absolutely popping off. We're gonna take the 4 because we know they have Play with Fires in the build, and we don't want to lose a Xur when we can gain a ton of life back off of Xur potentially. Okay, hey, Soul of Kamigawa, yeah. Let's gain the 2. Gain the 2. We're not swinging with Xur. We need an emergency blocker. So Hallowed Haunting can still hit the board. No, this doesn't even have to tap. They can easily target and sacrifice one of these. But if they do sacrifice one, then it's fine. We need to have Soul open to give something indestructible too. I think we play out Soaring City as a land. We power up the Life of Toshiro. And then we have the Soul open when they target it. That seems pretty cool, huh? So it's just a 2/2, Death Touch, Lifelink, Lifelink Hexproof. We can't have it go to nighttime. So we're gonna swing. We gotta play something this turn regardless. So if they block here, then we can at least drop the Soul. Or if they do anything here, right? We just gotta make sure we play at least 1 card is the thing. Okay, so we can give this indestructible. We're gonna gain 2. Oh, Lightning Strike. Nice. Opponent. Oh, man. Oh, the answers for days, but we're back up to 12, and this Liberator is still haunting our dreams. So we need to do something about it. I'm still not gonna block. I'm still too much of a coward to block there. We're still okay on life. Third Liberator. Guys, we need to kill this. Okay. Leyline Binding. It's not the greatest. It's not the best. I'd rather them sacrifice a Liberator to the Katilda here. The reason it's not the best is because they can kill all of it. They can kill all of these guys, all the enchantments. Let's just go Katilda. We have the Leyline Binding open still. So it does have lifelink. Let's let them do their thing here. They're gonna kill it. And then we can still flash in the Leyline Binding, and this might actually be a good way to get rid of everything. And we probably block here. No oops this time, opponent. We planned this. We gotta get rid of these Liberators. So we're gonna block. And we're gonna hit the other one with the Binding. Lightning Strike, huh? Okay, that's pretty good. So we'll take the 2. We'll gobble up this one. Kind of wastes their lightning strike, so now they gotta double down and go like another play with fire, which would be insane, like the amount of answers. So they actually do sacrifice the 1. Okay, this isn't that bad. We can totally draw something here that would work. A land. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Look, they don't get rid of their last Liberator. They don't get rid of their last one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, guys. The Hallowed drops. Brutal, brutal game here for us. The Liberator completely locking down the board, and we get a blocker. We get some life. We're still technically alive unless they get something for the Hallowed. They need to buff the Hallowed because we chump the Liberator. Block. I love how much life gain this deck actually runs. We could probably get away with those Thran portals. Gain another one, and the land off the top is the good game for the opponent. Let's go ahead and get our favorite, yeah, good game opponent, very good game. Favorite emote down. Cool deck, man. Just some werewolves, got the lightning strike. The honestly, the addition of the 3 liberators, I bet they have 4. I bet they have 4 of them, guys. Because why not? A bunch of Zur floating about. We saw Arcane Bombardment a few times already. We saw oh man, there's a ton. It hits Meat Hook. It hits Wedding Announcement. It hits artifacts too, right? So like Celestis, anything, dude. Yeah, werewolves with 4 liberators. That's something I actually want to try. I think that could actually do a lot right now in the meta. All right, we have time for one more, so let's get there, huh? Let's see if we can actually show off the aggressive side of the deck. I believe that is there. I really do. Okay. We don't have a 3rd land. We don't have a black source for the life of Toshiro, but we have the draw off the companion, and we go first. Guys, it's risky, but I'm keeping it. Oh, don't regret that. Don't regret the decision. Okay, we got a land. Okay, good. First of all, we're gonna get the companion down in case we get an untapped land in the next couple turns here. Then we can go into Wedding Announcement. There we go, Soaring City. Let's go. That's good. Gruel. Oh no. Kappa Tech Wrecker. No, get out of here. Stop killing my enchantments. Come on, opponents. So Wedding Announcement got a lot worse all of a sudden. But we have 2 of them, so if they get rid of 1, it has to deal combat damage, so we do have chump blockers. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine, guys. Everything's fine. You know what's going to be good? Getting Zur down in the next couple turns, so that way our companion has the death touch too. Iconoclast. Hey, nice. Very nice. So we chump the Tech Wrecker and take the 4. Okay. So Raffine's tower has to come down. Wedding Announcement. Man, I would love to show off the aggressive side of this, but the opponents have had it today, guys. We got to save our blockers back. The Tech Wrecker can easily gobble up one of these announcements if we're not safe. Or if we're not careful about it. So I think getting Zur down before we trade off the companion is going to be pretty important. The death touch, of course. Sticky Fingers. Yeah, we could still double block. We could triple block, actually. Just kill it. Oh, another kicked Iconoclast. Dude. That's insane. All right, we're taking 7. I'm going for it, guys. We're getting that Wrecker out of here. It's actually not terrible because the Sticky Fingers gets out of here too. It does of course get them a draw though, so that's kind of bad. Okay, tap land. Not too bad. Another wedding announcement. Okay. Okay. So, Xur makes the companion actually be able to block and kill one of these. And they have trample, guys. They do have trample. I think the Xur comes down so that way we can actually kill one. No attacks. The wedding announcements are going. So yeah, looks good to me, huh? We can double block to save some damage, but a Raiju can hit the board this turn successfully, or a Hallowed Haunting, so we're gonna have a tough time, but I think we can totally stabilize here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to put it's aggro slash mid-range for sure, because we go into the middle of the game successfully. Tough decks though, very tough. We don't know what's in hand. This could be very bad. We are going to double block one. We are going to double block the other one, because we don't know what's in their hand, and we could just end up dying. So the lifelink off companion could do a lot here too. Yeah, I think that's the safest bet, guys. The Iconoclasts are down, and we're up to 11, and the opponent didn't play anything yet. Burn down the house! Hey! Let's go. I wonder if that's a one of on the top end or a couple of them. Very sick addition to the deck, guys. I love playing normal play mode because we always get to see little surprises in everyone's build. Like, I had no idea that Gruul was running Burn Down the House, and it probably isn't. It's probably an awesome tech from the opponent, the same as the Kappa Tech Wrecker. So we are gonna run down the third wedding announcement because it's brutal. We're gonna gain life off the life of Toshiro and see if the opponent does anything here. Yeah, the third wedding announcement, that's brutal, guys. Wedding announcement can run away with games very easily. And so getting 3 of those was pretty lucky from us. We got the 2 Xurs too, but honestly, I think we deserve a little bit of luck sometimes, so I'm pretty satisfied with how we drew this time round. So, like, it could be a 2 of in the build. I can't imagine a Gruul aggro running. Oh, Devastator, let's go. Oh, man, that's a 4/4 in the air that we're going to struggle with, huh? We're going to gain the life here because we are on the run from all the different opponents' builds, and we got 1 white source. We can't play the raid, but it doesn't matter. We're going to power up the wedding announcement. Could also power up Life of Toshiro instead of the announcement here. Yeah, GG opponent. So what was going to happen is we were going to have a 5/5, so it's 3 mana. So it's a 3/3, but then we had 2 festivities buffing it, so it's a 5/5 with lifelink. We were about to go up to 16. We had the Life of Toshiro transforming next turn. And if they didn't have an answer for the Xur, which currently is a 3/6, so the Burn Down the House doesn't get it, a couple Lightning Strikes does, but that's pretty tough. So yeah, GG opponent. Hey, pretty cool matches, 50% total win rate today. I don't know if I played it out the best every match by any means. I truly believe that the deck can be aggressive, but we were kind of playing defense every single game, so just something to think about when I do add it to Aether Hub. Definitely aggro slash mid-range, but it can totally be aggressive for sure. What would I add or take out? Not a lot, guys. The Soul of Kamigawa is actually really, really cool, and I would not take that out. The 3 Hallowed Hauntings, if you go up to 4, you're probably going to see too many of them. I think 3 is a nice little sweet spot here, especially when, again, we're not trying to go into the mid-range. Didn't see Leyline Binding as much as I guess we would have liked, but yeah, we are correct in assuming it's going to be between 1 and 3 mana, and probably lands on 2 mana most often. Life of Toshiro was sick, and it can keep you in games. The life gain is cool. The fact that it eventually comes as the enchantment creature for the Death Touch is actually really important with all the aggro too. Reign of Truth, if we would have saw more Reign of Truth, maybe we would have been able to awaken the aggro side of things more often. Either way, I think the mana base was pretty good. I think the reason we see Zur in a control slash mid-range style deck is because you're running the bindings with it, and so you're running the triomes, and the triomes happen to be very slow. They come out tapped, man. So like, what are you gonna do? You can't run out your creatures as fast as you would like, which ends up putting you on defense more often than you would like. But I still stand by the fact that this deck can be aggressive. In the suggestion, you mentioned that, yeah, you could easily like turn 4 power up a binding. Like you could Leyline Binding early, like, you know, on turn 2 or something, and you can turn 3 Zur and then turn 4 have a 6/6 swinging in with binding, and that's actually insane. And that can turn tides, and then Wedding Announcement paired with all of these. Ah, man, yeah. I actually really liked the build. More testing is required to see if this is the style of Zur that's actually worth being played. I think we could safely drop a couple of the triomes and go up a couple Thran portals. We were gaining a ton of life, and Thran portal is a lot faster than the triomes, so that's something to consider too. Either way, guys, if you made it this far into the video, then y'all are champions, and I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.